So what would you do if you were crying out to God for answers, but the answer you heard was, get up and fold your laundry? Well, today's guest is here to share the surprising insight she gained from Scripture, years of research, and her experience as a mother of 7. But before we get to that, join me around the table is April Simon. She beat you.
She did beat me, and I love her. She's a friend of mine, and she does such great work. It's going to help so many people, so many moms. I mean, it's just going to be great.
Dorothy Newton, how are you?
Hello, Joni.
Would you like some mom advice?
You know what? Grandkids now, so I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Rachel Lamb Brown, do you ever feel anxiety as a mom?
I'm in the thick of it, so I need all the advice I can get.
Yes, thank you, Noah, for that. Well, there's a picture of Noah right there. You can see little 1-year-old. Okay. Kendra Kelly, do you remember the days when
I do.
Those toddlers can just move?
They are fast.
Yes.
I mean, never underestimate how quick and determined they can be. So now I've got a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. So I will take all the advice. All the advice.
Yeah, all with
boys
a
are
capital
coming
A.
around.
You're about to
and,
be in the preteen
none of those
stage.
boys are worthy. They just need to back up and back off. And so I need all the wisdom and
your
everything.
dad is sitting back there laughing. Remember when you were 14 or 15?
100%. Like, like those, you deserve this, Kendra. So anyway.
All right, Cindy Murdoch, we've done the mom thing. Now we're in the grandma thing.
We are.
But we're going to help some moms today.
We are.
Yeah.
Because I remember hide the lipstick.
Yes.
Because I remember my son painted my white bathroom cabinet.
Rebecca did the
red
same
Rebecca
thing.
did that
lipstick, and it would not come out.
Rebecca got in the tub and painted all the wallpaper in the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
And had it all over her face. I mean, and was so proud of the artwork that she created. Yeah. So
The joys of
we've got
motherhood.
stories. We got stories. All right. Well, today's guest is a nationally recognized mom coach as well as minister, wife, and mother of 7. She's here to discuss her insightful book, Mom Fog: 8 Steps to Overcoming Mom Fatigue Syndrome. Please welcome Hannah Keeley. We know this is going to be fun.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Welcome.
Woo!
So good to have you.
You're insane.
Thank you, Hannah, for being here. Well, you know, the human brain is amazing, but few of us understand just how dramatically it changes when you become a mother. Well, Hannah Keeley joins us to share the tools moms can use to create the lives they want to live. So we have to go back to your mom fatigue, because, I mean, you came out of this and God healed you.
Yes.
It was a process.
Yes.
And now,
Quite a process.
now he's taking what you went through to help other people. And he does that. He gives us a test and becomes a testimony, and it helps people.
I mean, that's the kingdom.
Yeah,
Right? When the
exactly.
transformation happens in you, it doesn't stay there.
Okay, so let's go back to those early days and just tell everybody what was going on. Because there are mothers watching right now, and you're just like, I am so tired, and I am just, and you just have all these words. Rachel's called me before and showed me the picture of the laundry piled up in her closet.
Every Sunday.
Because she's a perfectionist. She wants to just fold it perfectly. And I think I told you, like, one of the things I would change if I could go back is it's okay, like, when they're little, to not worry that everything be perfectly in place as far as toys are concerned.
Absolutely.
Just, enjoy that moment instead of worrying about your perfect order. But anyway, I hope that's the right advice.
I mean, that's when you just kind of just shut the drawer.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. It's
Right.
okay, right? Just close the door.
Right.
Right?
Not all over the house, but in that one
Right,
place.
but there's a place where it's like, it's enough. I think sometimes the mom brain operates with I'm not enough so often that we think we have to compensate with perfection. And like, you can try to be perfect, but I think perfect, first of all, is boring.
Yeah.
And also,
not attainable.
it's not attainable.
Right.
It's not attainable. So, but I think that's actually us trying to compensate for that dialogue in our brain that says, not enough, not enough, not enough.
Okay, so go back to that moment. I guess you were pregnant with your 3rd.
Man, lots of moments, but that stands out for me. That one moment is I was pregnant with my 3rd, and it was just so much. Like, I did not know what I was signing up for with this whole motherhood thing, and it was really hard for me. And the thing was, I mean, I told you, Joni, I was a behavior therapist. Like, I should know what to do with stress and anxiety and depression.
Right.
And I was like, nothing's working for me. And it was that one moment when I'm walking in with the laundry and I catch a glimpse of myself in this mirror that we had. in our bedroom on the dresser, and I looked so old to be so young, and I looked. I had just given up. I was like dead mom walking, right? And it was then I just couldn't take it anymore. I literally had a breakdown right there in the laundry pile, as it, on all the other, like the 5 piles of laundry that were waiting on me to somehow like step up to it. Put the laundry over there, just dumped it, and I just fell on the floor, and I am bawling my eyes out. Like ugly cry, where you don't know where tears and snot, okay, all the things. And just praying to God, just God help me. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not showing up for my kids. I'm not showing up for my home. I'm not showing up for my husband. And I heard God speak to me in that moment. And he said very clearly, I heard it in my heart. He said, get up and fold your laundry. And I waited for another voice because that isn't what I wanted to do.
Did you say, get thee behind me?
Yeah, I was like, I am not going to listen to the enemy. Like, no. I wanted like the clouds to unfurl and God's voice to boom down and said, I have seen you, my child, and a knock at the door. Something miraculous, right? I didn't know the miracle was actually
I'm
inside
sending you
me.
someone to help you out.
Yes. There's a Publishers Clearinghouse check to pay off your debt right here. And I realized that I could do the same thing I always did, which rely on myself and come up with my own solutions, but they hadn't worked for me. And so at that point, I realized, maybe I should try obedience. Maybe I should just listen to God. And after that moment, it wasn't like everything changed for me, not at all, but it was that one moment, and that's all we really need is a moment of decision that will lead to transformation. Yeah. And I couldn't come back from that. Because then you know too much.
You
like you know when you're
literally
being disobedient.
were on your way to 3 at that moment of breakdown, and somehow you made it to 7.
I made it to 7.
Continue
Yes.
on.
We can't jump ahead quick. We're just going to get through the third one.
She
okay?
really had a great.
It was a great transformation. Right. It was an intervention, my
You need to
sister.
know about this transformation.
Absolutely.
So what happened? I know you got up and you folded the clothes.
I folded the laundry.
But what were some of the things that you had to get in order, not only like in your home, but in your head?
Yeah, well, it has to start in your head. Okay. It won't happen in your life till it happens in your head. And that's one thing I knew to be true, but I also started studying about the mom brain. Yeah. And that changed everything for me, realizing I'm not broken. I don't have ADHD. Probably. I don't have, but I'm not like failing. Nothing's wrong with me.
What did you learn about the brain?
Oh my goodness. Well, when a woman has a baby, her brain actually changes. Like you can look at an MRI before and after you have a child, and there's a decrease in gray matter. There's a new cognitive filtering system that's taking place. Wow. And no moms are taught this.
And there's a little window that opens up that you hear the tiniest cry in the middle of the night. Oh, you slept soundly before.
This is amazing because our mom brain, like we wonder why we start things we can't finish, and why our child's talking to us and we're like, I don't even understand what they just said. Like I was somewhere else, go in a room, we don't know why we walked in there. But what's happening in your brain is you're taking in so much more information that you weren't taking in before. It's a cognitive change in your brain.
It's a new adventure for you.
It's new and it's scary.
It's a multitasking like event that takes place in your brain that God knows you need to have.
Absolutely.
But what happened to you to cause that not to be a peaceful transition versus what you were dealing with? Anxiety, depression.
I was used to my normal life, getting things done and everything works, and all of a sudden I have a brain that's operating differently now and I can't get things done and I'm highly distracted and
this human being that has come into your world that has taken all your time, all your energy, and they absolutely come first because you have to take care of a baby.
Your brain, the mom brain, will always take care of that child before it takes care of yourself. Yeah. Like we're always taught to take care of yourself, but that is so counterintuitive to the mom brain. You know that illustration that people always use of, when the oxygen mask drops down, put on yourself, then, okay, that's great if you're cognizant. But if you're reacting to an emergency, you go to that mom brain that always sacrifices yourself. Yeah. For example, when you're driving down the road, and
automatically.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. That right arm, right? In other countries. Okay, you're driving down the road and you come to a sudden stop, your child's here, you do that.
Yeah.
That is the mom brain.
Even if they're in a seatbelt.
It doesn't matter.
Even if they're 12 years old, I still do that.
Right.
Yes, my mother did it to me.
I know.
But that's the mom brain. It is saying, you must outlive me.
Yeah.
You have to survive.
So how do we overcome that?
Oh my goodness.
Well, she's got 8 steps she's going to talk about in the book right here. So let's go through these pretty quickly because this is the mom mastery method the Lord gave you.
Right.
And these are 8 steps to getting out of that the Lord showed her. The first one, they're all M's.
Yeah.
Massive action,
Yeah,
quickly.
yes. You have to take massive action. You have to make a decision, a very quality decision that my life is going to change. I'm not going to go back to who I was. And so that's required. And I remember that, for example, that time in the laundry. Like, I can choose to walk away from this and not take action, but if faith without works is dead, then evidently I'm showing up that I don't have faith.
Yeah. What about motivation?
Motivation.
That's a big one.
Yeah, well, so motivation is we have to see the result of what we're doing. We have to know, like, motivation is a word we throw around a lot. And we think it's like, oh, I feel good, yay, let's go do it. But it's not. We're motivated by pleasure or pain. So if I can look at my children, we don't do things for ourselves. Like, moms just don't, right? But if I look at my children as the reason why I'm doing this, then it helps us get up in the morning. It helps us get dressed. It helps us make our bed. It helps us prep meals, like all the things that we want to do. Instead of complaining about it, we can say, what if this is for a greater purpose?
Yeah, and the obedience in knowing that God has anointed you to be a mother.
Yes.
And that you're doing those things in a way that you know is pleasing to Him. But at the end of the day, you know, it's going to be a great blessing to those kids, but you're doing it in obedience. And He's the one that will give you that peace and that joy and knowing that you're trying to be the kind of mother that's pleasing to Him at the end of the day versus, you know, trying to do it for people.
Yeah, or recalibration. So you don't always have to do things the same way, and you can learn as you go. I saw this one mom, she's a mom of 4 boys, and she'd made this reel speaking about laundry.
Yeah.
And she created these little baskets in her laundry room, and she would wash the clothes, and when they were dry, she would just put them in each of the boys' baskets, and they knew that's where they would just get dressed. And she did this funny thing where her mom messaged her and was like, take that down. She just thought it was horrendous that she wasn't folding it and putting it away. But that's how she survived. Everyone was happy, healthy, and thriving. So she recalibrated.
This is your basket.
Yeah.
Come get your stuff. I love
You know,
it.
I think on the back of what Joni was talking about is probably maybe what you were talking about when you talk about mission. What's the mission?
Yeah, yeah. What is the mission? Like, in our culture, we so devalue motherhood. You know, and I hear moms saying, well, I'm just a mom. Like, discrediting it from the get-go.
That's like an eternal
Society
soul.
kind of does
Right.
that. Yeah.
This is an eternal soul
Yes.
that will live forever,
Absolutely.
that you are molding.
Yes.
Right. And we have to understand that this is something so powerful. I think that's why the enemy targets moms with all of the overwhelm, with the negative dialogue, with all the you're not enough, you're failing, you're not a good mom, is because if he can weaken us, then we won't show up for the future generations. Like, the way our world is going to achieve anything it can achieve, the way that people are going to be successful, the way that we're going to have peace, has got to happen in moms.
You know, and it's so important, I think, what you're saying, that you understand, those of you that are watching, that we're talking about all moms.
Yes.
Single moms.
Yeah.
Good.
Moms that are working, you know, out of their home, moms that have a job outside the home, moms that are stay-at-home moms. This is for everyone.
Everyone.
We don't want to say one is better than the other, because, you know, the world will do that too.
The world does that too. Anything to create division.
Yeah.
And we're all working moms.
Right, and God has created all of us to be able to do all of that in an amazing way that even men don't have. Sorry, men. But they don't have some of those same abilities that God's given us, based on what you're saying about the
No,
mom
it's
brain.
totally true. I mean, I don't know, like, you tell me, have you ever, like, just sensed something that was wrong with your child? We call it mother's intuition. And your husband's like, they're fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, something's off, right?
Yeah.
Or we grab our toddler's arm before they run out into the street, or we just know, like, wait, the house is too quiet, right?
You know, it's so funny. I saw this study that was done on the actual value of stay-at-home mom. When you add up the childcare, the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the teaching, And it's like, actually, if you were getting paid for that, it would be like
Right.
6 figures. So next time, stay-at-home moms, you feel like you're not adding value, you just
That's
add
so
all that up and
good.
you show your husband, this is
That
fine.
Well,
is
and
so
if you're a mom who works and you still can get it all
Yeah.
done. My mother worked.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, we had breakfast in the morning. She washed all the clothes.
Yeah.
She came in. We had supper at night. I look back and I think, how in the world did she do that? Mom, if you're watching this,
Yeah.
kudos to you. I mean, you laid it out there for me,
That is
Rachel.
so true.
Okay, so let's talk about mindset.
Yeah.
How important is that?
It's everything. It's absolutely everything. I think we have got to stretch our mindset to receive everything God wants for us because He's no respecter of persons. If He did it for one mom, He'll do it for every mom. But He can only give us as much as we're willing to receive. So if we continue to discredit ourselves and shrink our dreams and reduce our vision, then God's like, I'm trying to get you everything.
Wow.
I'm trying to get it to you, but I can't because your mindset is limited here.
You know, in the book, you talk about an instance where, you know, you had a nice home, but you had 7 kids. You could have had, you really needed more room. And you even were walking and talking to the Lord and saying, you know what? I'm believing for, you know, a home that has a little more space. I would love for it to, to be on the lake or around
Yes,
water.
yes, yes.
And you just, you know, started believing for that. And then God, it was like your mindset changed. Not that you
Yes.
wanted wealth or power or something, you know, you just wanted something that would be even more comfortable for
Right,
your family.
right.
And God answered that prayer.
Oh, it was miraculous. And I remember this when that happened is I saw this ad popped up. I looked for the rentals and we were able to rent this house. But I walked into that house, literally, it was what I envisioned. It was on the lake, it was the color, it was like everything that I was believing for.
And for a price that surprised you.
It was like God had planned that for me. But here's what's so powerful, Joni, is I had to see it with my eyes closed before I could see it with my eyes open. You know, I had to see it. I had to believe for that. I had to speak it out. I remember I would go out on my back deck in our tiny little house. Like, it was tiny. And I would go out on that back deck, and I was like, I love this lake. It's so beautiful. To the other backyards, the trees. Oh, I love my lake. Look at this. It's so gorgeous. But I had to see that and receive it instead of saying, well, I can't afford it, or it's not in the cards for me, or whatever.
And for people to say, oh, you're just doing name it, claim it, what would you say?
I would say you've got to be a little audacious to believe for everything God wants you to have.
right. Yeah.
Like, you have got to be. We like limit God so much in our lives
do.
just because we don't imagine it for our own life.
Yeah.
You're right.
And of course, you were able not only to do that, but then God began to bless your business.
Yes.
Began to bless your husband.
Yes.
You begin to manage your finances better. And I mean, and God just continued to walk you down that road and
Right.
bless you, right?
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing of that is not that it was all sunshine, roses, and unicorns flying around, but it was at every turn in the road, no matter if there was a dark period or a storm or something that I had to walk through, I could because of who I was becoming in that process.
Yes, I was this organized person. I had everything planned, but you know, sometimes no matter how much I planned, the day was chaotic. How important is mapping the day?
That's so important. But here's the thing with moms, we can't stick to a schedule. We just can't, because I call our lives routine divergent. Right? Because we have no idea what's going to happen. You know, what's going to happen with a kid or you know,
Right.
something comes up. And so if we try to stick to a schedule, we can't do that. And then we heap shame and guilt on ourselves because we can't. But what I love to do is create a map. And I call it just a mundane action plan. Just do the simple things. And sure, maybe you were organized and maybe it has to look a little different. Right? But if we can work with that graciously with ourselves and not think that it has to look perfect, but what if it can look like enough? Like, what would that look like for it to be enough? And I'm okay with it.
Simple things like what?
Simple things like laying out your clothes the night before. Honestly, that was the first thing I started with. I'm going to lay out my clothes the night before. One less decision I have to make.
And in the midst of all the social media, this next one is kind of hard because you compare yourself. You know, I'm not laying out my clothes. I'm not doing this. I'm not. So you feel less than. So how do you keep the momentum?
You know, that momentum is so important because momentum always leads to more movement, right? And I think if we obsess over comparison,
Yeah.
That's a choice. We're making that choice. We're exposing ourselves to the things that make us feel less powerful. And so I have to ask, why are we making those choices? Why are we choosing to heap shame and guilt on ourselves by comparing ourselves? Why don't we compare ourselves with the last version of ourselves? Like, what if we could do that?
Like how many successes?
Yeah.
Look at our
Like, look where I was. And now look
How far
where I
I've come.
am.
And it's important we do who we are and not who they are.
Absolutely. And honestly,
That's so good.
we don't know. We don't know what their life is like.
We really don't.
We only see the.
We only
part
see what's
they
in front
want
of the
us to
camera.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I'm going to get to the last two, but that's really, you talk about this in the book, how important it is to lessen your screen time of
Yeah.
looking at those images that most of the time aren't even real.
Yeah.
Or reading about people who aren't telling you the whole story, and you're missing out on your life and those around you and your
Right.
friends and family. You're missing moments. And you said you are actually coaching a mother
Yes.
who's like, I just don't have time. And you asked her a very interesting question.
I did. She was on a Zoom and she was like, Hannah, you just don't understand my life. I've got homeschooling, I've got to do all this, and I just have no time. I literally have no time. And I said, do me a favor, do you have your phone? Open up your screen time app really quick. I just want to see what number's there. 8 hours, 27 minutes on her phone. I'm like, and tell me about you not having
day.
time. A day.
Yeah.
I said,
How
tell me
is
about
that
you
like?
not having time.
What did she say?
She was like, oh, she was shocked.
I'd be shocked if they
Called out.
Yeah, because you know what we
mean,
do?
I'm
We'll just
curious
we'll be
now.
out to eat and we'll just check,
You're just checking.
or then we'll just,
You're at the gym and you're watching.
or like
and you're
in the morning, like if I get on here, maybe just scroll through real quick. I try to just like look in the morning or at night. I don't look pretty much during the day. And 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What was going
Gone,
to
flies by so fast.
It goes by.
Well, but not only that, but talking about like a mom brain or a woman's brain in particular is whenever I get on social media, it takes things away from me. It takes my emotions. It takes all these extra thoughts that I wasn't dealing with. Now
when
suddenly
people-
I'm processing all
people
this
put
information.
dumb comments on
Oh
your
my
page.
gosh. Yes. And so, but I function better when I don't have these needless distractions taking
Right.
away my capacity, my energy,
Right.
my motivation, all of that. If I can just stay focused
Yeah.
on the day and the people that matter in
Right.
it.
Didn't you say that I think I heard you earlier talk about a mom has all these apps on her
Right,
brain.
right.
great.
Well, it's like our filtering system is off. So before we could filter our environment, and now the mom brain, we don't anymore. There's a thing called the reticular activating system, which is filtering your environment at all times. Now that has been diluted to the extent where you're taking in all this subconscious information. And that's why you seem to be, your husband's talking with you and you're like, I'm so sorry, I haven't been paying a bit of attention to you for the past 20 minutes. Could you repeat everything you just said? And then he's gracious, and he does. But that's what's
Maybe.
going, maybe, on a good day. But that's what's
It's not
going
being
on.
respectful and honoring him, though.
Right, right.
know?
It's not. It's
Yeah.
my brain is thinking everything I have to do and what is wrong and what is that sound, and then did I do that thing in the morning, and do I have to fill up the tire before I go back there? And if I don't, that science project's due, and now I've got all the things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Well, you do the 21-day rocking routine challenge. It was just simple things like she says, make your bed, wake up to an alarm,
Yeah.
create your calendar, set a bedtime, and stick to it, Rachel Lamb Brown.
I do that for my kids
Okay.
every day, right at
Okay.
7. We begin bath time.
You said lay out your clothes.
I do that too.
You practice prayer, meditation.
Yeah.
You just, I think just even having a moment with
Check.
God.
Time with God.
Need some
You-
more.
you need a
That's
rest
very-
day. We all need a rest day.
Yes.
And my husband, he gave a charge to the audience earlier where he said, if for you dads watching, give mom a rest day. Like, let her go get a massage.
Yeah.
Let her
Love
go
it.
shopping or out to coffee.
Yeah.
Right?
Shoe shopping.
Josh always does that, and he's so helpful.
That way she doesn't have to come up with the excuse that she has to run to the store to get diapers. She can just
Right.
go out there without trying to come up with a reason.
It's so funny. I was supposed to get coffee with my mom the other day, and then with another friend, and it got canceled. And I was like, I'm still gonna say I'm
still
going to get coffee. I'm gonna go
I got it out. I'm going to use it.
I'm still doing that.
I've done that.
Yeah. Well, just yesterday, Rachel came over with the kids, and they were going to go swimming, and Josh was there, and she needed to go to the store, and Doug said, "Well, you can leave him here and go ahead," because she said, "I got to do this, got to do that," and run to the store real quick. Man, she was in that car and out of that truck.
Such a great plan.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. The window's open.
All right, eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Plan your meals, map it out. Drink your water.
Yes.
Like if you have one, what is it, cup you carry around?
Stanley.
Yeah, one of those Stanley cups
Yeah.
of water. Make your house shine. Do your devotion. Move that body. Exercise. You do that. I do that.
That is for my mental clarity as
Right.
much it is for my physical
Right.
health.
That's
it
so
just
true.
clears everything out.
Keep learning. Be beautiful. Prep your meals. Care for yourself. I mean, these are all just
Yeah.
practical things that really helped you get
Sometimes you have to
through
think
it.
about 'em.
And so, again, you need to get the book. We're out of time. Wow, it went really fast. really, really fast. So, how important? Just take about 30 seconds. Encourage that person that's watching right now, Hannah, that doesn't know Jesus. How easy is it to invite him in right now?
You know, there are a lot of steps you can take to radically transform your life, but it all hinges on that one step. And that first step is having a relationship with Jesus. None of this would have happened in my life or any of these amazing women's life without that first step of having that relationship. So yes, if this is God calling on you right now, you feel that in your spirit and you know, I've never really taken that step. Maybe right now, maybe that's the time to do it. Just a simple prayer.
Yeah. And it just, I mean, it is a simple prayer. You just say, Jesus, forgive me, come into my heart, be Lord of my life. I've tried everything else. I'm going to give you a chance to come in and do something that only you can do. And I'm telling you, it will be a life-changing prayer that will forever change your life. And really, it's the most important prayer you could ever pray because it prepares you for eternity. Where are you going to go when you die? Well, you can know, you can have that security in knowing that when you ask Jesus to come into your heart, your sins are forgiven, that you will spend eternity in heaven. But not only that, like Hannah was saying, you know, to live in this world today without him, I can't imagine. None of us sitting at the table can imagine that. So those of you that prayed that prayer, I'm so excited about your future and what God has for you. And yes, you are going to come out of this, okay? You really are. Well, we are out of time. I want you to remember that no matter what you may be feeling, God has not left you alone. You know, the Bible tells us that he will stay with you in the good times and the bad, and he will equip you for every good work, especially raising a Christ-centered family. And no, you're not going to be perfect. None of us sitting here are perfect. But every day you get up and know that he's going to be with you. He's going to walk with you, encourage you. And then you're going to read Hannah's book and get all the practical steps, get your mom brain to working right. And it's going to be amazing. Well, if you're watching today and you said that prayer, that's why the prayer line number's on the screen. We have amazing prayer partners that are standing by, always ready to pray with you. But I want to thank Hannah for joining us today, sharing her story, sharing her book. Be sure to grab a copy of her book, Mom Fog, 8 Steps to Overcoming Mom Fatigue Syndrome. And for more on Hannah's work, you can visit her online at mommastery.com. If somebody wants to be coached, what is the website for that?
Oh, I would just go, you can go to hannahkeeley.com, but I would start at mombootcamp.com. It's just 5 days of coaching that's going to help you.
Okay, mombootcamp.com.
Yeah.
All right, as
Go to
always.
boot camp.
That's right. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. You can leave us a comment. Let us know how Table Talk is touching your life. We love hearing from you. And you want to make sure you subscribe to the Joni Table Talk podcast. It's available now across all top podcast apps. Thank you so much for watching. So excited about what God's going to do in your life. And I tell you what, it's going to get better. I promise you. You just believe and just open your heart to what God's showing you today. And I'm telling you, it's going to turn around in Jesus' name. Hey, we'll see you next.